Hello everybody, welcome to my channel for new battle report. I definitely wanted to try out the KOE matchup with my Wild Earth list. Why? Because it's one of the main reasons why I wanted to try out the Wild Earth is to see if it is... Basically my theory was Wild Earth might be the best type of Ogre list to face Kingdom of Equitaine, that are, as you know, quite strong at the moment and quite, they are here a lot in the meta in most teams in team tournament because they are really strong. So I really wanted to try out to see whether or not my Wild Earth list could face such a list, and I think the best opponent to do, one of the best opponents I could choose to do that was Juggernaut, that did play at ETC with KOE, with Team France, and did a very good total of points. He did a very good ETC, so it was perfect for me to try out against such a good opponent. My list didn't change since last game, and this is my opponent's list. So basically he took his ETC list, didn't change anything. You have the Killy Lord, you have a Master Divination with Binding Scroll, then he has the Folk Hero BSB that can heal Knights, which is really strong. 4 scoring units, 2 big boss, so 1 quest obviously that are really strong. The big boost of Feudal Knight with Hereditary as a bounce spell. Then he has 2 units of Feudal Knight, the Pegasus Knight, 2 Piece of Chaff, and the Lady Courtier Druidism. So yeah, very strong list that we saw quite a lot. We played randomly Secret Target and Dawn Assault, and here we have both spell selection. For me, the debate was between... I thought Swarm of Insects is not so interesting because it can do some wounds on the Courtier, but he can heal himself, so shouldn't do a lot. So definitely the Frenzy spell was much more interesting. Could act as a combat buff, and at the same time I could Frenzy bait stuff that are out of the bubble. And on the right we have all the spells that my opponent has at his disposal. Matchup analysis, both of us will want to drop for first turn, I guess because of Dawn Assault mainly, and also the fact that it's a matchup where we both have a lot of combat. We both could put the other under pressure if we could start and be aggressive. Chaff and push, like I wrote down. Different type of game depending on who can start, I guess. Thinking about board control. I need to engage because it can hurt me with magic. Divination can do a lot from distance against 4 monsters. Chaff Watch will be key to avoid getting a multi-charge, not multi-chaffed, but multi-charge. Thinking about the Tuskers that could really suffer from that, especially because they have low lateral mobility. Keep in mind his ability to turn check me with the face teeth, and my estimation was drawish. We have with both a lot of combat. Basically it's a bit stronger from distance, but I have more threats than him. Deployment, so I Wanderer for side, meaning he could start the game, so I just gave him an Impossible to reduce even further his Dawn Assault side, meaning he has slightly more than half of the table to deploy, but not more than that. And I had the opposite side, so he did the following: 1 small feudal on each side. So I put my Secret Target here on the far right, which is very hard to reach from his deployment zone basically, and he put his quite on the far left, just on the way to pushing towards me basically. So one feudal quest boss with the characters, feudal boss, then he has his general, courtier, yeoman, peg knight. My counter deployment, so I went scouting my small trappers behind the hills, just move with Vanguard on the hill, trap the hill and move behind. Then I put some flexible pieces on the left part of the map with 2 giant and a rock to basically stopping him from pushing too hard, but at the same time be able to push towards the left with my giant to occupy a part of his forces on the left. And on the far right I put my scoring unit, so Scrappling to go for secondary objective. Then I put my small tribesman boss with the mage to be in a safe spot and be able to do kind of a flanking maneuver. I put as well my 2 Mammoth Hunter character slightly on the right on the strong flank to be able to push here and exploit this part of the map where he hasn't much stuff, so I thought I could exploit this part of the map. Then my Tuskers, a small dart that is covering the angles in case he chaffs me turn 1, and my Tigers in the back. So quite straightforward. Let's go for his turn 1. So his turn 1, he chaffed me, push with the rest, go on the hill with both his general and his quest boss, and the rest also push forward, leaving me with long charges. In magic, he got D6 strength 4 on this giant, he did 2 wounds, I dispel on Earring Strike, and he got distracting on the Lord, basically just wanted me to avoid the charge here, which would be, I think, a face charge, but yeah, I have strength 7, so it's always a risk. With distracting, I'm only eating on a 6 up, so it's not anymore an option, which I think was a smart choice. And he uses both breath weapon to kill my trappers. He didn't suffer from any DT because he moved the face teeth, that is Strider first, and then just breath weapon killed them, so they didn't achieve a lot. And he did another wound to this giant with the shooting attack from these guys. My turn. Passes the frenzy, charge with my tribesmen that were in this position exactly to do that. Start to angle around and give me a bit more breathing space with all my threats. So I just move a bit around, put me in a position to frenzy bait this cavalry and start to move towards the left with giants. So yeah, like try to exploit the flank with him being in the middle and force him to make choices basically. In the magic phase, I got frenzy, Savage Fury on this cavalry on the right. He dispelled my other spell, which was I think a totemic summon, and close combat I did like 3 wounds, but I won by 5. He decided not to take general and to flee. I pursue, catch him, and ended up in the middle of the map, which was not bad. His turn 2, he decided to go for it, so he charged with his Feudal Knight against my 3 guys. I had a lot of counter charges ready for that, and he failed his frenzy, decided to go against my Rock, suffers 1 wound from the DTs, which is not bad. We'll see how that goes, but already happy if I can get rid of this annoying scoring unit. Turn around those guys to not get frenzy baited again. And those guys will just zone me on the left, and he pushed slightly more with the Druidist guy to tempt me to charge with the Iron Fist guy, because the likelihood that I kill him is not that high and that I break him as well, and then he can just counter charge me with the Peg Knight, which should be in his favor. In his magic phase, he got Fate Judgment, 2 wounds on my Rock, D6 strength 4, did another wound to my leftmost giant. And then with 4 dice against 5, he got an Earring Strike against my Rock, which was a bit unlucky for me, but luckily he did only 1 wound to my Rock, so not that bad. Close combat, he just one-shot me, Reform, and here he did 2 wounds to me before I go, and then I strike and I just kill him outright. So he's not here anymore. Let's go for my turn. I failed the frenzy with this Rock, so I just charge the feudal boss, which is not that bad because I have a good overrun. Potentially I could break him, we'll see. And I position all my threats around to try to take advantage from that. So we'll see how that goes. I shouldn't die in one go because he's only strength 4. So I shouldn't suffer too much from him. I still have 3 wounds left. And I should do a lot on the charge, so at least he will be pinned down, and I'll try to exploit that with other charges afterwards. The giant just moved a bit around. Yeah, I debated whether or not I should charge. As you can see, he put as well a divination attribute, which makes even less likely for me to break him. And then in the play of charge, not sure I can really win that grind, so I decided not to charge and continue to occupy 3 units with 2 units more or less, but moving slowly towards the middle with this giant to try to support this combat if needed. In magic phase, I got Break the Spirit in the close combat against the Feudal Knight, thinking if they flee, could suffer more wounds, they are even less likely to do stuff against me. I could have put it, to be honest, since he wounds me on a 6-up, I could have potentially put it on another unit, but yeah, I don't think it's a big debate, or I could have tried to put something else in anticipating other combat, like -1 to wound or stuff like that. Never know. Shooting, I kill one of the quests with a bow shot, crossbow shot. Close combat, I kill 5 of the feudal, 5 or 6, I think 6. It wasn't steadfast anymore, so I killed 6, exactly what I needed. So I was really happy about that. He failed his break check, obviously it was like a low discipline roll, so he failed that one. So I thought, very interesting. He rolled to flee, he rolls a 10, I didn't achieve that, I rolled only a 7. He didn't suffer any DTs from Break the Spirit with the 5 remaining guys. 2 of them on the hill plus open terrain, but from that he suffered no wounds, and I get the overrun against the questing. So good, but not perfect, but still good, because I'm going to do impact again on the questing. So could have been worse, could have been better, let's say so. He countercharged me with General, chaffed my threats with his guys, and I'm still a bit too far with... I was a bit afraid of the General charging against my guys, so I couldn't push too much. Was a bit afraid that I might get stuck here, so I don't know, maybe I could have anticipated a bit better. If we think this position, yeah, I didn't have much room to do much better by pushing more, because it depends what happened with the overrun. If I stick, I could have tried to think, if I stick, what happened, if I overrun, what happened, and how I could maybe push slightly more with these pieces to be less chaffable. Maybe there was a play. I think the Tusker were kind of blocked, but as well we can look around with the overrun. Maybe he couldn't wheel pass and charge me in any case. So maybe I could have done more aggressive play to try to exploit a bit more this situation in the middle. Maybe. He moved back on the hill, the rest just shuffled around more or less. Those guys rallied, obviously. In the magic phase, he got also, this one was an important march check to go in position to chaff me, which he passed. He got the throne off, he got hereditary off, I dispel, regrow knights. In close combat, I kill 4 crest knights. I still had the time to attack with my attack from the rock. And I debated against the unit, yeah, he might just regrow them, so let's go against his BSB. And I put all 5 attack against the BSB, and I leave him on 1 wound. I was close. Could have do at the quest to try to kill some more, we can debate that. But I tried the BSB, I thought it could be interesting. So then I died, obviously. My turn, I failed another frenzy on a 9 maximize, so I had to charge his chaff, meaning I will get countercharged by stuff, which is very annoying. Other than that, yeah, I think nothing crazy. The rest I just repositioned. Since I failed this frenzy, I expected my rock to be dead soon, so I just repositioned the rest to try to take advantage from that, and here I tried to bait him to charge me with countercharge here, basically. In the magic phase, he binding scroll, break the spirit. I got hereditary on the general and +1 resilience on the general, meaning I'm resilience 6, so he's not likely to fight me with his guy. Could have tried maybe another spell, then because resilience 7 is already enough against most of his stuff. So yeah, but just make sure that he doesn't charge me with the quest as well, maybe to kill me. So I think, yeah, was still quite a good option. Close combat, I just made sure with the positioning of the tiger that I'm not going to nudge towards the left, which could have been a disaster, because then he could charge me, I cannot flee, and overrun into the boss and so on. So I positioned this guy carefully to not nudge if I don't. Basically, the worst that could have happened is kill 4 with impact hit, being forced to nudge towards the left, and then I'm like, okay, I'm stuck. So that was the idea behind this move. He's turn 4, he charged me with the quest, move those guys around, move his general in front of the Tusker, move this guy on the hill to be ready to countercharge stuff. And yeah, I guess that was it. The rest just here, just stay in position to continue to basically, yeah, just protect his scenario, more or less. In the magic phase, also with stand and shoot, I killed one of the quests, which was nice. In the magic phase, I binding scroll his regrow. He got distracting off on those guys. I dispel reroll to hit. And what happened in close combat? So I have 4 wounds left on my general, and basically did exactly that. So he had, I think I have the stat here. Yeah, basically he rolled like 4 wounds, which is can happen. Could have done less as well, because he's like on 2 up, because he uses one of the Horizon token, and then he's on 6 up rerollable, which is lethal strike. So I don't have any armor save on that. And yeah, he did what was kind of expected, I guess. So I couldn't even strike. My turn, I get some charges off, so I charge with my BSB onto those guys, and I charge as well with the boss on a 9, which failed charge. And then here I double charge, so I had to charge him in the flank to make sure I get all guys in contact with the general. And him in the flank is also giving some CR. Not too bad. Unfortunately from the DTs I lost 2 wounds on the champion, which is annoying. And we'll see. I mean, we will see how that goes. I have hopes here. I decided to back my giant, still keep him under pressure with the great weapon giant. And the other giant, I wanted to use him as another counter charger. So thinking, I might be stuck here, so I want to have a counter charge at least with the giant. And here I just chaff the feudal boss with my cat. In the magic phase, I got +1 strength on the Tusker. He was a bit greedy. I rolled with 2 dice, not a great roll, and he tried to dispel with 3 dice and failed that. So this is crazy good for me, +1 strength on the Tusker unit. I also got -1 to hit on the quests to make them hit my BSB on 5. Close combat. The BSB, he gave me his champion. So he's stuck on rerollable minimize steadfast, all good. He didn't had the possibility to countercharge with this guy against my BSB, which is nice because it's a front. And this close combat, I have some stats for you. So Tusker Impact should do on average between 1 and 3 wounds more or less. I did 1 wound. Then the Tusker attack, I did 2 wounds, which is not bad. Then he attacks me, he did 3, so it kills, it's multi-wound 2, so it kills 2 model. And then he had 1 wound left, and I attack with my riders, and they fluff. They rolled 0 wound, which can happen. As you saw, there is no big scandal overall, just the riders a bit underperforming. So 1 wound left on his general is still here, and he has a counter charge setup, which is, I tried, failed that, so he counter-charged me, charged the chaff, repositioned those guys. In the magic phase, he got, I dispel reroll to hit, obviously with divine attack that could easily kill my BSB. But then he was able to heal his general, I couldn't avoid that. I dispel scrying. Close combat. My BSB did only 1 wound to him, he did 1 wound to me. I stick on 8 rollable. And here I lost by a bunch. I have 2 times 4 rollable, 4 rollable. I passed that one. In hindsight, I think I could have and potentially should have fled because next is my turn. Is he really going to pursue that way? With the risk of not being able to, because then it will be his 6. So he would be completely out of position. So I think I shouldn't have use the leadership on those guys and maybe even him. Just flee with both and see what you do, but you have to run me down to get the points. I think could have been a smart choice. Maybe fail even the restrain and so on. I don't know, but yeah, that's what's happened. So the quest fight to yeah, I put that down. He did 2 wounds to me, which is expected, hitting me on 5, wounding me on 5 with lethal strike, and then I have a 5 up, 5 up, I guess. And I did 1 wound back, which is also expected, so nothing crazy here. My turn 5, I took 2 counter charges, the meat boss against the cav on a 6, which failed again, and the giant, which was pretty much automatic in the flank, hoping to get rid of the quest with the mage and BSB, which is a lot of points here. Those guys just overrun, but not much. I still decided against charging them with the boss. Really wanted to make safe this combat. Here we're still stuck in combat with like 1 wound remaining Tusker, more or less. I just tempted him to charge me. So it's turn 5. I gave him an 8 swift ride. Basically, if he fails that one, I just position myself that even if he moves back, I want to have a charge possible, making him test on 8 rollable. If he fails that, he lose objective, and if I get the long charge, same result. And in exchange for that, I have to give him a charge on 8, which is still not too bad for me because he has to take a fear check, and then in close combat I have strength 7. Everything can happen, we'll see. So exciting turn. Magic phase. I got break the spirit on the quest, hereditary on the BSB, wanting to save my BSB on 1 wound left. And I also got +1 strength on the giant. So this is not bad at all. Close combat. So what happens here? I did a lot of wounds. He has only the BSB that refuses challenge plus the damsel alive. The rest is dead. He's losing by 7. It's like double one rollable. He failed that. I pursue. I get him. And what is good is that my BSB, by pursuing, hits the back of those guys. So this is really good. I have only 1 wound left, but still I could get rid of the feudal, which is a lot of points. And here just kill me and reform. His turn 6. He tried to charge me with his courtier on the back of him on 8 Swift Stride. Failed that one, luckily for me, but got his general against my boss, which was an easy charge, and got the peg on 8 Swift Stride against my giant. So fail 1, 8, success the other one. Those guys just reform, move back like he could do. In his magic phase, he got nothing because he had almost no magic left since I run down the divination. So I just dispel some stuff, but he didn't have anything crazy. What happened in close combat? So those guys, he gave me the champion, passes the steadfast, all good. Here I gave him the champion, he kills him, steadfast, all good. And then here he attacks me. I have some stats. So he failed the fear check, which is nice. Strikes me, did 2 wounds with the rider, which is expected. I guess 0 wound. I guess 0 wound with the peg guys, slightly below. And then I have 10 attacks. On a 3-up, I hit 8 times. So I'm expecting, this is going to be crazy. I wound him 6 times, so I roll 2 once. Then he has 6 save on 6-up, 6-up. That's it. So I mean, he has a charge, 2 wounds. So he is up by 3 at the moment. Maybe he has a standard, so he's up by 4. So I did 6 wounds. I have fear. You see what's coming. If I make him break, pursue, charge here, could get me secondary and the win of the game. And yeah, 6 wound, he rolled 5 save on 6-up, 6-up. I did 1 wound. Losing combat, didn't pass steadfast. So I could have still at least, if not breaking him, at least stick and beat him next round or stuff like that. But no, I failed steadfast, he ran me down. So what a nightmare. So as you can see, it's 5% chance of doing 1 wound. Yeah, to be able to stick, I needed at least 3 wounds. And to make him test would have been 4. Yeah, because he had the charge. Yeah, he had 4. So I needed only 4, at least 4 to stick. And 5 to make him test. So not that likely that I do 5. But yeah. I was on this end. I would have preferred this end, but could happen. My turn, I just charge again. The feudal break, I didn't catch them, but I just charge them on my turn and he flees. And here we're stuck in combat. Magic phase, I got +1 strength on the tribesman. I got break the spirits, he dispel, break the spirit, and then I got frenzy on those guys. So it's easy, guys. I have 8 attack from the first rank, 9 from the second rank because I declined challenge, which is 17 attacks on 5s, Rending Banner, AP 3, so on 5s, on 4s, and Battle Focus. He's full, but I mean, you never know. And I rolled 3 wounds, which is already a lot, let's be honest. But I remember that he had a couple of ward saves to take, and yeah, he just survived on 1 wound. So I take half points, which is not bad. He had to take a leadership check because he did 3 wounds to me. Yeah, I have that as well. He did 3 wounds to me, which is expected from him. So he had to check. I had a rank, a standard. We both have 3 wounds, so he loses by 2. So it's a check on a 7. And if he failed that one, I win the game. But he passes that one, and we ended up on a 10-10. So what a game. What a game, guys. Emotion roller coaster, because yeah, I mean, I had multiple chance of doing good. I think I was slightly lucky in Magic. The amount of buff that I got at the right time definitely kept me in the game. And then I slightly fluffed at some points, so everything compensates during a game like often. So no big scandal with a 10-10. Everybody's happy. Post-game analysis, KOE starting, I expected to be under pressure, but I was able, thanks to Donaso, to use some free space to basically have some room to like counter push, try to counter attack, or have some not getting cornered basically. Secondary, as expected, was a draw. Failing to frenzy just meant dead Rock. Both of them died because of the frenzy. The first one achieved quite a lot, I guess. And it's funny to see that the decision to attack the BSB and not the unit came bite me afterwards, because it's the amount of surviving quest that allowed to kill my general in the end. So it's funny, but I couldn't know that I'm going to fail frenzy, and at the same time I still felt that it was at this time of the game the right decision to go for the BSB, because it's huge impact. It cannot heal anymore, no reroll. I have a lot of monsters that cause terror check and so on, so it could have a huge impact in the game. So I felt this was the right choice. Lots of combat, outcome hard to predict. Like always, if you go in combat, you never know what happens, and I think the giant fight and other fights were great. Like a great show of that. KOE general somehow survived, so I kill him down to a wound, he heal, go again in combat, and again to a wound. So I did 6 wounds to him, and he's still alive. Late try at secondary with my left giant, which almost paid off. Rock means sensitivity. I'm always surprised by how easy it is to do wounds against those guys. Thinking about the guys that are frenzied, or often if you get some small blast and stuff, it can easily do wounds against this beast. And frenzy was definitely a burden or difficulty in this game. I failed 2 out of 3, and it cost me big. So I think here we could debate whether or not it's the right option to bring Rock. If I should have brought maybe Mobile Hunter instead. But I think if I bring Mobile Hunter, then I lose a lot of strength, AP on the charge. Also lose some ability to face larger block, larger unit. So I think it's not sure it's the right option. And I think overall we discussed that, because it's also something that interested me, is to see what was Juggernaut's view on the matchup. And I think I agree with him to say that the standoff game still favors him, because he has much more range damage, so I need to engage. And do I manage really to engage that easily against this list? I'm not sure. He has so many counters to most of my stuff. If he's placed right, and he can do that because he has mobile unit, I'm not sure I can get what I want where I want, and therefore I think he can easily maintain the standoff and get some point from distance with divination and win this game like 12 more or less. So interesting also to talk. So guys, that's it for this battle report. I hope you liked it. Plenty of action, was an exciting game to play, and I hope exciting also to follow. I wish you a great day, and talk to you soon on the channel. Bye.